Hey Lindsay, it's Josh from Train Heroic, and so I appreciate you reaching out with that question about just kind of how we could maybe optimize programming if we saw anything that was glaring or looked off, right? So I jumped into Teams, and I've got a couple of recommendations for you. If you go to Pontiac's PV2 and I click on that, I published these just so we could look at them from the phone, and I think that will best kind of illustrate why I did what I did. But here's the first thing I saw. You've got kind of this first section, if you will, A1 through A13, right? So that's a lot of movements to have in one section, if you will. And when we look at it on a mobile phone, you'll see why I've kind of made the recommendation to actually pare that all down into one dynamic warm-up. And these are just different ways to program, right? And so if we look at this, so I'm going to come here and actually edit this session, you can see, I'm adding each movement, right? And I'm adding sets and reps. Now this is great if you want the athlete to actually track what they're doing, right? So for example, if this was a bench press, you'd want them to go in on their mobile phone, right, and edit their sets and their reps, right? You'd want to track progression, but we're really not going to track progression on something like this. So an easier way to do this, and I went on the 18th to kind of set this up, is to program what we call a circuit, right? So this is just text-based programming. So you're just actually kind of outlining this in text, and you're still adding all the video. So the video is here. And what I'm going to do is just on the 19th kind of go through, I'm going to add a new session. I'll add a block. Now when you add a block, you can search for movements, right? So you might search for your heel kicks, right? Or your heel to butt or anything like that, right? And add those things in. But you also have the option, rather than adding exercises, when you add a block, you can add a circuit. Now circuit is just text-based, right? So I might say, hey, this section's prep, and this is a dynamic warm-up, and I want you to do 20 yards of, A skips, B skips, right? So it's just a simpler way to program when you're programming things that aren't really for tracking purposes, right? Again, if you're programming something like a bench press, so if I came in here and I said, hey, you know what, we're actually going to, we're going to bench press, right? You might want that to be tracked, right? So you're going to go ahead and add sets and reps, right? I want 3 sets of 3, and maybe you prescribe what, maybe you don't. I'd use exercises in that scenario, but for something like a warm up, I just do this. Now, what you can do are two things. One, you want to enrich this with video, right? So I'd come here and I'd add in the A skip, I'd add in the B skip, right? So you still add all the video in case they don't know what the thing is, but they can look and quickly discern what they're supposed to do in a much simpler way. And again, we'll look at that on a mobile phone so you can see what that looks like. And two, you can actually save the circuit to your library, right? So maybe this is like, our lower body dynamic warm-up. If you save this to your library, it's then saved so you can search for it. So as an example, if you go to add a block, I actually saved that dynamic warm-up that you programmed. So here you go. And if you click on that dynamic warm-up that you programmed on the 16th, I programmed that here with all the videos in it. So you never have to do it again. Now you can always adjust it, right, and change it for a given day, add videos and remove them. But now it's programmed in there. And let's go ahead and take a look at this on our phone to kind of illustrate why that's a nice thing for the athlete. All right, so here we are, okay? And so what I'm going to do is, let me clear this off. Sorry. We're looking at, this is what your athlete would see, okay? So let's go to the 16th first. This is what we had programmed initially. This session, if you look, right, it's just going to be really long. Just a very long session. It's kind of hard to grasp, and it's really because we've got 13 movements in section A, right? And then if you actually go and you start the session and you jump in here, right, what you'll notice is even this section, while I'm in section A here, there's quite a bit to do. And the intent with exercises is such that I can, adjust this. Hey, I actually did 25 yards, and I check it off, right? And then you're kind of on to the next section, right? So even something like a snap down plyo prep, lean fall sprint, like some of these could just be probably programmed as circuits, and that maybe is a little bit easier for the athlete, right? So if I go to the 18, and this is that session that I program, if I click on section A, here's that whole dynamic warm-up, right? No scrolling, it's all right here. Now, of course, if I don't know how to do anything, I can click the videos, and I can actually go and see any of the specific videos. Now, once I finish this dynamic warm-up, I just hit mark as completed. It's one click, and I'm on to the next section. Okay, so just understand when and how to use circuits, but that'd be my recommendation. And again, this dynamic warm-up saved for you. Hopefully this helps, and we're standing by to help answer questions here too. So thanks. Talk with you soon, Lindsay.